this
It doesn't.
season.
Yeah, it doesn't. They haven't made an upgrade on the players that they have. Look at Nelson Semedo. He looked quite good yesterday, but is it an upgrade on Sergio Roberto, on Montoya, who they let go some years ago, on critically Dani Alves? He cannot come close in the next 4-5 seasons.
Wow.
So you let Dani Alves go, but you haven't brought in a quality that can easily replace him. Maybe a Kyle Walker, a player who's got a great engine, who can go, box to box easily, who can tackle critically, and who knows what to do in the final third. This guy looks to me like he would need 2-3 seasons to be ready. That's the that is.
Let's talk about Zinedine Zidane, and I want to throw you into this argument about whether or not he's a lucky coach. A lot of people have been throwing that argument about him. This is his managerial career. The things he has been able to win less than 2 years.
Every manager needs some measure of luck. Every sportsman needs some measure of luck. But I think it's hugely disrespectful to Zinedine Zidane to say that he's achieved all of these things purely based on luck. The man knows what he's doing. He's, in my opinion, one of the top 3 coaches in the world. And the records are there to see. This guy has a team that, as at when he took over, had just been beaten 4-0 in the Clásico by Barcelona. It's easy to forget that game, which was maybe the most one-sided El Clásicos in history, was played barely 2 years ago. Since this guy came in, he's won virtually all the competitions they played.
And a change in mentality.
He's changed the mentality of the players. Critically for me, the Galactico system that Real Madrid instituted years ago was premised on the thinking that only superstars are good enough to play for the first team.
And that's what Zidane has done.
No. Is he a Galactico? No. Lucas Vázquez, is he a Galactico?
Casemiro.
No. Casemiro, is he a Galactico? No. And these are players who have weighed in with significant contributions.
But how was he able to turn them around to become the Galacticos?
Remember, he was a beating manager for years, and then critically was an understudy for Carlo Ancelotti, who won the Champions League before he took over. So, it was the same thing that worked for Pep Guardiola at Barcelona. They were part of the fabric, they were part of the furniture, the part of the system before they were given the job. It's quite different from Pep Guardiola showing up at Manchester City and hoping to wield the magic wand and turn things around. He wasn't a part of the system integrally. So Zinedine Zidane, whoever is out there who thinks he's lucky, yes, every coach needs to be lucky. But Zinedine Zidane, I say unequivocally, unambiguously, is one of the best coaches in world football. Okay. And you can't argue against that.
All right, let's get back to Barcelona. And let's look at the players that are on loan. If you're the coach, maybe you could bring any of these guys back. We quickly see that you have Thomas Vermaelen, you have Douglas right back, Sergi Zampa, José and Munir El Haddadi. Any of these guys could solve the problems.
Christian Tello, bags of pace, trickery. But then again, I think he's lost his way since they let him go. It was shocking that they let him go because it was an understudy to the big guys, to the front 3, and he was doing quite well. He was learning, in my opinion, quite well. Same thing with Munir. He was coming in and scoring goals, and then they let him go, supposedly to get playing time. And then you bring in players of inferior quality
to replace them.
It doesn't make sense.
They've lost it, right? Is it that there's something may have changed? Maybe from the scouting department or something, because this is not the Barcelona we know. They know how to spot talent, but right now they're bringing in the wrong players. You mentioned Casemiro and the likes and all that, who we felt are not Galacticos, but right now they're superstars.
Yeah, they're doing well for the first time at Real Madrid. I think what has happened is Bartomeu, the president of the club, there's been a campaign for him to resign, for him to be sacked.
Yeah, he needs to be fired.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what he's doing. Critically, the biggest crime that he's committed against the Barcelona system is that he's de-emphasized the La Masia. The La Masia has always produced the spine of the Barcelona team. So they would garnish La Masia products in the first team with global superstars, 3-4 of them. But look at the most successful Barcelona side in history. Piqué, Carles Puyol, they were La Masia players, but that defense had a Dani Alves who was bought for some decent money from Sevilla. Look at Mitul, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, all La Masia graduates. Fabregas at some point, a La Masia product. And then you go to attack. You look at Pedro, who played a critical point in their title-winning sides at the height of their powers. But they had at different points David Villa. They had Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho, and Henry. But Messi was the king of them all, and he was a La Masia graduate. Right now, Barcelona doesn't look like the Barcelona of old, and it's because the president of the club has sold the brightest talents coming through from the La Masia. The guy at Aston Villa last season, the guy who had now at Middlesbrough, what was his name again? The African guy, Fred Diarra or something. The bulky guy who, yeah, he was from Barcelona. It was sold. Barcelona never used to sell players like that.
All right, let's look at the players they've been linked with. If that will solve any of the problems, Philippe Coutinho and Dembele, could they, fill the void?
Well, Coutinho, in terms of what his general possession, general contribution, keeping possession, keeping the tiki-taka going, if that's what they're still playing, if we can refer to it as that. But in terms of goals, what Neymar does is when there's a gridlock, when things are not moving, when they can outplay and dominate the opposition, you can get the ball out wide to him, and it can drop a little bit of magic, and you're back in the game or something. I don't think that Coutinho would give you that regularly. Yeah, he can develop to become that sort of player, but Messi would always be a marked man. You need the players around him to do something. Luis Suarez has been off color for a bit, so they need Coutinho to hit the ground running immediately, and if the expectations are set at Neymar's level, they won't get it in another 2 seasons. So he might not, solve the problem, which is why I think they're smart that they're getting 2 of them. Okay. So when one doesn't click, maybe the other would work.
What if Dembele?
Dembele will work, right?
He's quick. He's got bags of tricks, but he's not ready immediately. He might give you 15 goals in all competitions in his first season, but in those big games against the likes of Real Madrid, who will defend well, would he be able to get in behind and conjure a bit of magic to get them back into the game? I doubt it very much.
But who should they have gone for right now? I mean, for Neymar?
In all honesty, there aren't a lot of options in the market, which is why keeping Neymar would have been critical. But having said that, he's gone. I don't see a like-for-like replacement straight away in world football. Maybe, if Alexis hadn't played for them at some point in the past, he probably would have been an option. Okay. But the best of legs are obviously not available at the moment.
Give Neymar's money to Arsene Wenger and he will give them back Sanchez. I'm sure that will work. We'll come back, we'll look at the papers.